welcome to today's staff development. Today, Bruce Richards created a document from Google Docs, and it's a template for looking at student work, how your students are doing. And so our fourth grade team today is going to be putting on our staff development today. So, but when we're looking at student work, there's four areas that we're looking at, and what do we want students to know and understand? How will we know that our students know this? What will we do when students don't know and understand? And what will we do when our students already know and understand? And so next year, the district is moving towards Google Docs and getting all staff trained in some staff development in Google Docs. And Jason Holstein will start planning for that for next year. So fourth grade team, come on up.
As Todd mentioned, we have a lot of teams that are already using this model, and that's exciting. And we look forward to learning from you and what you have been doing with the model. For those of you that have not seen it, this will be an exciting adventure, and hopefully you get as excited as we are. So really the focus of our presentation is using PLCs to improve student learning. Our objective today, I can use data to improve student learning, and we're going to do that within our PLC. Questions that I want you to consider as you're watching the presentation, and then you will be able to discuss them with your PLC team afterwards. What are two ways PLCs can improve student learning? Describe something that you learned with your team. How do you see this model benefiting your team? And then maybe more of you are at the stage. What challenges do you foresee with this model? Which one are you? And you can answer this in your head. You don't have to answer it loud. Are you a problem admirer? Are you a problem solver? A data admirer? Or a data solver? Lately, I feel like I could maybe wear that t-shirt. So here's the big picture. Keeping in mind as we go throughout our presentation that no single piece of data can give us the exact, what should we do with this child? Okay, so we need to look at multiple pieces. Instead, multiple data pieces can give us the big picture using pre-assessments, formatives, summatives, observation, and you know the rest. So how do we use PLC within our data? How do we use data within our PLC? Good, you're with me. OPA is used as our baseline, and I know K1-2, you don't have that standardized baseline, but I think 3, 4, 5, I think you've been living it and breathing it the last few months. So that's what we've been using as our baseline data. But really, it's the formative assessments that move students to higher achievement and to higher learning. The formative assessment is the piece that informs us as we're teaching what I need to do differently. So starting this big task and this big process. Our implementation with Google Docs focused on math. We know that next year it needs to look different. We need to have that even balance with math and reading, even though maybe my comfort level is the math, but I understand that the need is there with the reading as well. We are just getting our feet wet with this process, and we know that there's so much more to this process than what we will present today. And maybe some of your other groups have dabbled in that other part. Remember when you answered, which one are you? Well, in the fall, we felt our team were problem admirers and data admirers. We looked at that data day after day until we were blue in the face. But we didn't know what to do with it. We didn't know what we could do with it. If only we could go back to what we're doing now, if we would have started that in September, I think we would have seen a lot more growth and success. Fortunately, there's nothing we can do. We can only move forward. So now our PLCs look very different from what they did in the fall, and that's what we're going to show you. We're not going to show you what we were doing in the fall. We're going to show what we're doing now. Why did we change? This might be a big question for your PLC. Our team was willing to change, and it was pretty much across the board. There wasn't anybody that said, Akerson, you're crazy, what are you doing?
Internally, but
for change. After that first round of open data came out, it was ugly. We had to change. And we didn't really have a choice because we saw that sense of urgency. If we keep doing what we're doing, we're not going to be successful. And to our team, these three things were huge. When I asked the team, why did we change? Why did we do this? Well, they answered, yeah, you're crazy. But then they also agreed that this was it. So enough with the talk. Let's do something. We looked at that data, we looked at it and looked at it. Let's do something with it. So now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty snapshot of our PLC. What does the agenda look like? What do the Google Docs look like that Bruce has pulled together? So that way you can really see how it's been used, and perhaps it's similar to what you're using in your PLC already.